Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome to This and That with Grandma Kitty. I am Grandma Kitty, and this video was supposed to be up yesterday. I am going to try and go Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're on the walking pad today, not really for nervous energy, but extra steps don't hurt. So this is a little bit of a heavier video, and it's not something that I really intended to cover, but I felt like it's something I wanted to talk about with you guys. So, like we do points to ponder, or we share things about ourselves down below. I'm always curious to hear about the people that are watching me, and we can interact. And I do appreciate those that watch regularly and comment, so thank you very much. Again, if you are new around here and you don't want to miss anything I put up, there's a bell somewhere around here. You can interact with this page. There are new features that I'm not really aware of because it has only been recently that I've started to reuse this channel. So go ahead and play with the little buttons down there, see what we got. But I'm sure everybody has heard by now, it's been all over the media, that this week James Van Der Beek passed away. And I wanted to do a video, but I in no way, shape, or form wanted to do anything in such a manner where it would come across as for clout or clicks or anything. And quite honestly, if nobody watches this video, nobody interacts, I'm okay with that. Because this vlog, this channel that I've got, is more for like a digital remembrance book for me. Any of those that have watched Little House on the Prairie, you get it. But I have some feelings on it. As a kid, teen, adult, young adult, without giving my complete age away, I did not watch Dawson's Creek when it first aired. It was something I stumbled upon. They were almost done wrapping up, I believe. And I only caught bits and pieces, but I enjoyed it. It wasn't until probably in my mid-30s to where you can watch a whole series. So I decided, I watched a couple episodes ways back, I want to watch it. And the characters, who are always typically way older than they're portraying, but they do a fantastic job. So that being said, you know that we're talking about James Van Der Beek and his career that I'm speaking about. The section that I mostly am in tune with is his role as Dawson Leary on Dawson's Creek. I've also seen him in a Debbie Macomber Christmas movie. Cannot remember the name, cannot find it for some reason. But he plays a single dad whose wife passed away. She was a piano player, like all the things. I can tell you about it. So I'm limited as far as him on the big screen. I do know about Varsity Blues, but I only know about it. I have not watched it. So I don't have a lot of knowledge. I can't speak to that character. But where I'm going with this is, when you hear about it in the media, that I did know for a while that he was sick, dealing with cancer, as many of us did. It was publicized. You get a connection. You allow somebody in your home on your TV, and you grow a fondness for actors. I wouldn't call it an obsession. I wouldn't call it idolizing somebody. There are people that do that kind of thing, and that's perfectly fine. But when I read the news, I didn't hear it. It came across my screen when I was on the phone talking with my mom, just having chit-chats. And we continued our conversation, and I didn't say anything. And of course, after our conversation, I looked it up, and I was really kind of set back a little bit. And I don't have, as you'll see, I don't have a prepared format for you. This channel is just kind of me expressing things about me. And that's why you're here, to hear about things. So if it goes a little all over, I'm really sorry for that. But a lot of this is just thoughts that come out naturally and unscripted. This is real. But I sat back a little and I soaked it in, and I was sad. Didn't know him personally, but I was sad, and I knew he had a family. and a wife and 6 kids. And at the time, though, I thought he had 3, but I was mistaken. And I developed a sense of relief that he has passed because he's no longer suffering. But what that means for his family, his loved ones, and his fans, we're the ones left with the feelings. We're the ones left with, well, I won't swear, expletive here. But where I'm going with this whole thing, as sad as this is, and we've lost a lot of celebrities, it seems more so lately, and in clusters, and some just because they've aged, and well, we're all getting older, so the ones we've watched and enjoyed on the big screens and that, they're getting older too. And though I'm walking and trying to do healthy things, the packages that were put in, they don't last. And you just do the best you can. But I instantly felt, I've lost loved ones, I've lost, friends, I don't talk about a lot of things I've lost, but every loss seems different. But the comparison that I'm trying to draw with and ask you all about is when you lose a loved one or you lose a friend, it can physically cause you a certain feeling. And you can feel the same about somebody you watched on screen, somebody you saw in a play, somebody you may have just ran across something on social media, and then you find something happened or whatever. Have you ever wondered, or maybe it's not everybody, maybe you can't say it's the human condition, because not everybody feels the same way. In this house, I know of the actor that passed away. It's weird to just say his first name, because he's always just been James Van Der Beek. That's how you would say his name. But it's not like I impacted his life, or he would have even known that I'm a blip on the radar. And yet I felt an overwhelming, at first, sense of sadness because I truly thought that he was doing better. But only based on the things I've seen. We're only shown certain things. That's with everything in life. And I felt, like I said, instantly bad. I felt sad that he was gone, young. So much more time that he could have been on the big screen or doing another sitcom. The man was brilliant. I've obviously seen things on my scrolls, other people paying tribute and putting together montages of different things that he did. And that's really cool to see. But it's also sad because you realize that's it. And I'm not going to be on a big screen. I'm not going to be on a TV. But I have this. And like I said, it serves as a remembrance, but it's also something that I can leave. So there will be times where maybe I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I don't have things you want to watch. I don't have things you want to learn to craft or whatever. And that's fine. Because at some point, maybe people I've touched the lives of will be able to look back and go, I'm so glad that she did this. Even if it seems like chaos or jumble, or you're seeing the fact that I don't have my chair back finished. I need a piece of red vinyl. That's a side note. Could do a whole video on how much I love these tables with the pull-out, but that's not what we're talking about today. So when somebody passes away that you don't know, but you feel the same kind of feeling when somebody passes away that you do know, is that human conditioning. Because when you're young, you're taught that it's sad when somebody passes away. Or because, like I said, in this house, it's different. My wife doesn't really know who James Van Der Beek is. She's obviously seen now, but she's never really watched him. So I'm not walking around sad sack. I'm hopeful, and I have seen things where his wife and his children will be taken care of. I've also seen both sides of the fence, people arguing about that. People saying, well, he was a big time millionaire or whatever, or he owned this or owned that. This man also sold off all of his memorabilia just to pay for treatments. Treatments that only maybe slightly prolonged a painful existence. And that's sad. That is truly, it's horrible. We don't talk about politics here. We don't talk about, we're not a drama channel. But it's still hard to believe that people feel they have the right to not just share in your sadness and be like, yeah, I really miss him too. And, I hope his family's well. And that's what this is about. I'm just wondering if you guys have the same parallel of closeness to somebody you've never even met. TikToker. And I have groups of people that are part of Grandma Kitty's Army. I have friends that are in all different countries, and I've never physically met them. It's not like we talk every day, but I'm telling you, if something happened to them, I will inherently feel very sad. Because when you allow somebody into your life, into your TV, into your space, not everybody has the same attachment. But that being said, the observations that I'm having are, why then does it seem okay for some people to, for lack of a better word, bash a widowing spouse for electing to do a GoFundMe because she's scared, because she doesn't know what's going to happen financially with their home, with the 6 children they have. And some of the people's comments that I've seen, yes, there are some very beautiful comments, but there's also a high amount of people just ripping this woman to shreds. And he has older children that can read, that I'm sure are on social media. In a world where there's so much chaos, we're not political, but it's notable, it's chaos. Why would you take the time behind the safety of a keyboard to be so mean? And then that gets me to thinking of all the other things, the simplest of things that you can do to just make somebody smile. Lift somebody up with a smile. We do a lot of pay it forward. I'm not doing that to pat myself on the back by any means whatsoever. In fact, this will delve me into the next thing I want to talk about. But what really, really saddens me is that some people think that it's okay just because you have the opportunity to get behind a keyboard. And you do have a right to your opinion, but your opinion doesn't need to be shared. Our group is all about peace, positivity, and kindness. But do all the members of my group walk around in a sunshiny haze, all, look at me, and I'm so happy? No, that's not. But you want to be. I'll guarantee you, most people don't want to be sad. Most people want to be accepted. And I do think that most people have a good, kind heart. But somewhere along the way, somebody hurt them. Or they're just simply jealous because they see what somebody had. They don't. They don't know how to get it. And it is such an easier thing for some to tear somebody down. And this goes back to my comparison that you can care for somebody you've never met as much as you care for family members, friends that are like family, that kind of thing. Would you do the same? I mean, I would like to think everybody that is here and kind of gets my content, the astounding answer would be no. You wouldn't tear someone down just because you're having a bad day. Unless you post something and then you think about it and you feel better and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to take that down. That's horrible. But it's the ones that intently do it. It's the ones where I've seen videos that are so maliciously made against the real beautiful tributes. And then the questioning. And I kind of fell into this for a little bit because our healthcare is terrible. We're not going to go into that. It shouldn't cost as much as it does. That's when you have lots of countries coming in and commenting because, they also know this person. Know him in every sense of how everybody else knows him unless they physically know him. To deplete somebody so financially and cause that bit of worry to where you do anything you can. And my big thing was, he worked with all these people. Now, like I said, I took extra time. I needed time to process. I needed to not be so emotionally charged. And my immediate was, well, all these many, many, many people he's worked with, why aren't they helping? They know the family. Like, I got really distraught over it. And I calmed down and I took an extra day. And I've seen where people that he's worked with and some that just know him from the industry and have said, I've never worked with him. But I believe in what he stood for. He was a great man. No drama. Family, all the high family values. That is what I needed to see. That is what I needed to see in the human experience where at the deepest core, we're all the same. Everybody gets scared. Everybody has wants, dreams, desires, goals, all the things. It's what you do with that on how to get there. Sometimes, sure, goals way too big, like universal size. But can you do something that's close to that? If it's me, and we don't have a lot, but I'm sure if I say to my wife, I want to give something to the family, I can't compare to these celebrities that are thousands donating, but it doesn't matter. And it's not for a pat on the back, and it's not for anything. I can go to that GoFundMe, see what we can contribute. We're a one-income family. And just keeping the man's, I don't want to say prestigious, pristine. I don't know if pristine's the word. His memory. He was a good man. Excellent actor, in my opinion. I didn't not like anything. In fact, I plan this weekend to watch Varsity Blues because I've never seen it. I've heard some other titles of shows that he made appearances in, other cameos that he made appearances in. I wouldn't mind seeing those. So that's what we're probably going to do. But again, from last video, I don't know what our plans are this weekend. I just know there's plans. But to that, all that I say is something that I have said when I started on social media back in 2020. And I reflect on it. I haven't done it a lot because I used to say it in my lives. And I may or may not go live today. I'm hoping to. I did makeup just in case because I did not know when I was going to film this vlog. As of this vlog right now, it's almost 10:30. I don't normally film this early. I did, again, want this to go up yesterday, but I needed some time. I also needed some time because I don't normally watch the news. And I had also watched recently the hearings. We'll just call them the hearings. We're not going into that either. So for those of you who know, you know, this is why I needed extra time, and I appreciate you coming today to check the video out. But what I used to always say, and what I think needs to be said, and I may put this on a shirt, because I have been saying this, written this, kind of been my thing for like going on 6 years. It's good to be good. It's nice to be nice. It's real easy to be kind. I know on here a lot of times I say it's not that tough, but sometimes I'm realizing it might feel real tough. To do the things that could be done easily for some people might not be that easy for others. So what I mean by it's not that tough is whatever's weighing you down, whatever mountain you need to climb up, whatever task you need to accomplish that you just feel that you can't, it's not that hard. Because it's okay to reach out that hand. It's okay to call on a phone and tell somebody, can you help me? I'm one that I don't like to ask for help. That's just how I am. But I'm learning. I do ask for help. It's not that tough if you have the strength and the courage to open yourself up to being helped. It's not that tough to be kind behind a keyboard. It's not that tough to be happy or excited if you have discovered something. I watch different YouTubers and I'll get excited because they'll have content I've never seen before. And it's something new. It's something different. And I will tell other people about the experiences. It's different stores, different shows, that kind of thing. And there are going to be some that are like, no, not for me. Okay, it's not for you, but I like it. And thank you for not knocking me down. I'm sharing with you. A lot of people don't want to share. And it's something that my wife and now my youngest says sometimes. He gets a little angry when people are rude. And rather than lash out, which is always a good thing, take a deep breath, let it go, kind of, because you do have to acknowledge your feelings. He will text me when he gets home, and he will say, well, it happened again, and with my son, you never know. And he says, I had more of that. Had to deal with the me, I mentality. And he nails it with what he means. And I think that that's a lot of the hate that I've seen on the social media side of things. I can't change it. I can ignore it. I can delete and block. I can comment back, start a mini keyboard rumble. Or I can choose to acknowledge it in my own way and then reflect. How would I have handled it? Or just know that I would not have done that. And then feel good about myself for the choices that I make. I think a lot of that is what's happening behind the keyboard. People want to be seen. And it doesn't matter whether it's in the midst of a tragedy, if it's in the midst of what we've got going on around this little marble that we all live on. People want to be seen. People want to be validated. They want to be heard. They want to matter. And another thing I always put out, this is a safe space. You can express yourselves in my DMs as long as you're kind. Because I will block and report. Because I want to keep a place like I do on my Discord where you can express yourself. You can duet any of my TikToks. That's expression. If I come across something that really doesn't resonate with appropriate, which doesn't happen often, but it does, I will delete it. Yeah, I will. But if more people just understood that they're not the only ones that want to be seen and heard, how different would that look? What would that feel like? Because acceptance is huge, and people have been fighting for acceptance on whatever platform, whatever topic, just to be accepted. When you're a kid and you start school for the first time, there's nobody that watches this that cannot tell me that they were afraid that they wouldn't make a friend, or somebody might laugh at them, or, what if you say the wrong thing? That lasts you even up into adulthood. You don't want to look goofy. You don't want to, unless you're purposely trying to look goofy or make a funny or what have you. But I think everybody, even the most common place, scenario, let me think, I'm fairly certain, I don't have any proof of this, but I am certain that even our most confident talk show hosts, actors, news anchors, everyday people, just because they've done a lot on different types of screens, just because they're popular, just because people see them a certain way, I'm sure they're nervous. I'm sure they've got things that, you know, they say to themselves before they go on stage or before they appear or whatever, because that's human conditioning too. I just don't understand where along the way I have some theories, maybe, about why people act so mean to others or why people feel they're more important than others. But at the end of the day, a mom with her children who have lost their father is a home that has one less person in it. But that hole that's left is bigger than anything anyone can imagine. Even if you've lost somebody yourself, your loss is significant to you. Their loss is significant to them. And nobody, human condition or not, should have the right to be mean. I could have gone off ranting and raving on here, but I'm talking in a calm voice because we need more calm. And like I said, this is not the normal video I try to make. But I just wanted to ask you all, how has this affected you? Has it made you maybe reflect on people you've lost in the past? Has it made you think of, what can I do differently in my life to make a difference? To help somebody? To make somebody be seen? To extend an olive branch to somebody that you might be squabbling with? I've tried to extend olive branches in my life. Sometimes they work. Sometimes people, they just don't want to anymore. And that's okay because you evolve. Your friend group might not be your friend group when you're in a retirement home, if you're in a retirement home. And that's okay because you evolve. But as long as you know you've tried to maintain some kind of decorum, some kind of a relationship, then you know in your heart you did your best. And maybe that just means you have more room to let some other people in. So it's been kind of a reflecting day, the last couple days for me. And as we move into this weekend is Valentine's Day, we're going to get a little bit lighter now because we need to. This was not meant to be a whole downing kind of thing. It was just kind of these are my thoughts running through my head and observations, and maybe I've inspired you guys to think about something. And so with that being said, Valentine's Day is this weekend. It's supposed to be fairly decent weather. I might even possibly be grilling on Sunday. Sunday's not Valentine's Day, but it might be 60 here, guys. Fingers crossed. Because I have not been able to fire that grill up since probably early November. Love me some grilling time. Want to get out there and work on the lanai. So, hopefully that'll be a thing. As I've said in my last video, Valentine's Day around here is a little bittersweet. And I wasn't going to get into it, but you're all my friend. I know you're there. I see you. Kind of. As you know, we have Charlie. He's our little furry wonder over there, sleeping, resting for in between food shifts, I guess. But he's a good kid. Well, a year ago, we had a Chewbacca. He looks a lot like the Charlie, but there are some differences. And we had a wonderful Valentine's Day morning. I won't get into the past. Both of us have past histories as to why Valentine's Day has just kind of tanked. We've tried to make the best of it. And then when we got together, we've really tried to make the best of it and get all fancy. We'd get fancy dressed up and I would just cook dinner. Because for us, we don't have to go out to a fancy restaurant. We are the kind of crazy that will get all fancy dressed up and have hot dogs and watch a movie from back in the 80s. That's just who we are. We do that kind of thing for New Year's Eve because you don't have to go away or spend a lot of money to make a memory. So we had a good Valentine's Day, and since this is kind of a raw, real feeling kind of video, We had been waiting on some calendars. Chewbacca was voted Mr. December. So we were excited, and they were supposed to come that day. And we kept telling him all day, calendar's coming, calendar's coming. And it got here. Like I said, he had treats. We had a great day. We were all snuggled up. It was cold. It was really cold last February, Valentine's Day. Calendars came. I can still see it. They also sent us a puzzle of the picture of his Mr. December. And he was excited. Showed him his puzzle. That was a nice freebie. And everything happened like that. He came over to both of us, he came by me and he was excited. And he went over by my wife and he was excited. And he stood by the window that I'm facing this way. It's the opposite way in the last video. It's the one where we have the tree with the little valentines hanging off of it. And he stood up on all four, on all back of his feet there, his 2 feet. And looked up, got back down, came over by us again, and, threw himself at my wife's feet, and she petted his belly, and he liked that kind of thing. She came and sat down, and I was sitting down, and he walked over and fell over. We're like, what are you doing? We figured he was slipped. We have tile floor. And he fell one more time. And I won't go into specifics, because it happened in just a matter of not very long. It was dang near instant. And our world completely changed at that second. Unprepared. He was 3. He just turned 3 in December, and this was February. And everything changed. And neither of us knew what to do. Except it just seemed really wrong on Valentine's Day to have our hearts ripped out. That's what it felt like. So I get that Valentine's Day isn't for everybody. Struggled with it for years. As a kid, loved making them, loved giving them. Like I said in the last video, I would get some. As an adult, that changed a little bit. But as a 16-year-old in high school, that's kind of where things changed. We won't get into that. That's left in the past. So this year kind of meets us with a little, what do we do? We have one of us that doesn't want the reminder. We have another one of us that doesn't want to be in the house to be reminded. But we've both agreed that we want to try and make it a positive day. Because up until that very time, he was very excited. Had a great day. Didn't know what was wrong. So, because we have Charlie, we're choosing joy. And I'm wondering, we both kind of wondered, if maybe that's why Charlie came into our life. It scares me. He looks a lot like Chewie. Does some of the antics that he's done. But he's Charlie. In every sense of the being, he's different. And all I can say is, and we both said when we got him, when we rescued him from the local shelter, is if it happens again, which would be cruel, we're done. At least that's what we say now. Of course, we said we were done after Chewie passed away. But the little stinker was presented to us not as a Maine Coon, which Chewie was, and the thing he passed from is very synonymous with males of that age. It just happened. That's everything I researched, everything the veterinarians told us. It's one of those things. Well, lo and behold, Charlie's a Maine Coon. Doesn't mean we love him any less. Doesn't mean we hold back, because that's the point of this. You can't hold back. Valentine's days are always going to come. And you're going to feel how you feel. And some people, it's just a card day. It's just a made-up Hallmark day. Some people go all out. Some people, it's bittersweet. Some people just need to work through it. I want to do a little bit of both, but not forget about it. So, I don't know what we're doing. I was informed that there are plans. So, there's that. Any plan is a plan, no matter what it is. So we'll be doing something, and like I said, may or may not be updating you because I don't know what the plans are. And with all that being said, love who you love. Be who you want to be. Be the best you can be. Maybe reach out to somebody you haven't reached out to in a long time. And throwing that 4-letter word around, you know, the one synonymous with Valentine's Day. If you want to throw it at somebody that you've been hesitant to because you don't know how they'll react, you won't know until you tell them. So tell someone that you love them. What's going to hurt? Because it doesn't always mean what people think it means. It's just a higher feeling of liking somebody, but letting them know. And that's okay. Don't be afraid. It's not that hard. It's not that tough. Never lose your sparkle. That's yours. And you'll never forget that you're more than just a face. You're a whole you. That being said, I'm running long here. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Have a very wonderful weekend. Have a special Valentine's Day, whatever way you want to spend Valentine's Day. And I hope to check in with you on Tuesday. Bye, guys.